You could hear it like in sections, like boom, boom.
A loud boom. I thought it was a car fire.
That was the sound. The bridge collapsed.
It was 1 year ago today, the spark that ignited the inferno, crippling the city for months.
The collapse of the I-85 overpass brought Atlanta to its knees. Who could forget the images? Red-hot flames consuming concrete and steel.
And pillars of black smoke billowing from one of the busiest highways during the busiest time of the day. And then the unthinkable happened. The concrete caved and the overpass collapsed before our very eyes.
Miraculously, nobody was hurt, but that doesn't mean we didn't suffer. Back roads and backups. Drivers were forced to make some major changes to their daily travel.
It took exactly 44 days to repair the I-85 overpass, and transportation officials promise this will never happen again.
Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz joining us now live from the bridge in Northeast Atlanta. Jacqueline, GDOT says that we can expect more changes in the future.
In light of that bridge collapse last year, federal officials may even make a nationwide policy to ban certain construction materials under bridges to make sure freeways don't burst into flames. GDOT says what is most certainly banned right now and has been for the past year are those construction materials that exactly 1 year ago were set on fire and caused the freeway to collapse.
I started seeing smoke, a whole bunch of chaos.
The fire, unimaginable.
You couldn't get anywhere. It was just shut down for miles and miles.
The traffic, unbelievable.
This is going to affecting us a lot.
And the drain to local businesses like Mama's Restaurant from the March 30th, 2017 I-85 freeway collapse and closure. Painful.
Because the traffic has to stop in the corner, people not coming.
The night of the bridge collapse, making sure that our procedures began to change.
Georgia DOT spokesperson Natalie Dale says to make sure we won't see this infrastructure, gridlock, and economic calamity again.
Check under all bridges and overpasses on state property to make sure that this type of material isn't stored anywhere else in the state.
Crews quickly removed all spools of conduit from under all bridges and roadways and have banned them since. This was a picture of what was stored under the I-85 bridge. The state fire marshal says those plastic spools with high levels of petroleum were combustible. On the afternoon of March 30th, authorities say Basil Ellaby set fire to a shopping cart, and those materials fueled the flames.
We won't be storing any, and we haven't been storing any materials like this under our bridges or overpasses. We're talking about things like wood and fuel and this type of plastic, which is common in construction materials.
GDOT says those storage areas still exist under the I-85 bridge today and elsewhere, but they say what's left is not flammable. State officials notified all state DOT agencies about their changes and say more are forthcoming. The Federal Highway Authority could also issue nationwide safety mandates to protect bridges and roadways. Those could come after the National Transportation and Safety Board finishes and releases the findings of its full investigation.
We didn't want it to happen in Georgia. We certainly don't want it to happen anywhere else either.
And the findings of that NTSB investigation may be available in the next few weeks. Coming up on News Edge at 11, in light of the recent Florida pedestrian bridge collapse, we asked state officials why the accelerated construction of the I-85 bridge is safe and sound. But for now, reporting live in Northeast Atlanta, Jacqueline Schultz, Fox 5 News.
I don't really know who's responsible for it. I mean, I can't say who was responsible for it. I just know it wasn't me.
Basil Ellaby, the former homeless man who was initially charged with setting the fire under I-85, says the whole ordeal changed his life. Ellaby was addicted to drugs and living in a beaten-up car when he was arrested in connection to the fire. Now he's several months into an 18-month mental health and sobriety program he agreed to undergo as part of a deal with prosecutors. If he successfully completes it, the arson charges will be dropped.
My life every day is centered around staying sober type deals. So I go to treatment, I surround myself around positive people who are trying to do the same thing I'm doing.
And now Ellaby has a part-time job at the practice of Molly Davis, one of the attorneys who represented him at no cost. A year from now, Ellaby tells us that he sees himself having his own business, his own home, and another year of sobriety under his belt.